Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Shayna Cersei and I'm so excited to paint in our watercolor journals once again today. So if you're new to the channel, we're painting in our watercolor journals as often as we can, and I am trying to provide you inspiration for different ideas. So there's over 123 videos now on my watercolor journals. So go ahead and check those out. If you're a returner here, welcome back. And don't forget to check out the description for links to all the supplies and materials I use in this video, as well as in my regular everyday watercolor life. I will talk about what we have here and leave a comment as we go along. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment. And don't forget, if you are new, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. So we're going to do a landscape today. We're going to focus on some clouds. I am working in my 6x9 Bao Hong watercolor journal. It is 140-pound cold press paper, 100% cotton. I'm using my Core Mini, which is 12 colors, the Pack-A-Reel punch here with lots of colors that create a great palette for mixing. So you can mix a lot of different colors from these 12. And I also have my enameled butcher tray here for just some extra mixing space. I'm going to be using round brushes. I have a silver black velvet and a size 10 velvet touch Princeton, as well as a liner brush. I have another, let's see, size 4 Princeton hanging out over here. Maybe we'll bring that in. But I tend to lean towards all round brushes. That's what I paint with. All right, so we're going to do a landscape here. We did this somewhat monochromatic birds on a wire here in this lovely little forest last time. So we're going to finish out this page. I'm going to put my horizon line. I'm just using a pencil to put in a horizon line way down at the bottom so I don't get too carried away. I know I wanted it to be low, but I want my sky to be really big and dramatic, and we're going to put big white fluffy clouds in it. And then the ground, I think I will just put in kind of some hills on the side here, just some different hills. I want it to be really light in the middle and kind of dark on the edges. So that's good. But this is, I wanted to make sure I knew where I was going for my horizon line. So I'm going to use Phthalo blue as my blue today, PHTHALO. And we are going to use this, and I'm going to paint around kind of my clouds. So my clouds are going to be white, and I'm going to try to keep this really loose and very painterly. And basically the blue is going to be the sky that pokes through these clouds, but everything else is going to be clouds. So what I want you to remember, a little bit of negative space painting, is that with this, our clouds are going to be really big at the top and wide. They're going to kind of go the whole page here. I'll put a little bit of blue up here in the top. And as we get further away from the viewer, they're going to be more spread out and closer together. So I'm painting the space around or in between my clouds. So we're going to get more blue kind of as we get further away, and the clouds are going to get smaller and thinner and wispier. And the blue is going to get lighter too. Okay? See how that works? It feels like it's not going to work in the beginning, and we will put some details in the clouds with some gray and maybe some purple tones to give them a little bit more detail. But overall, there you go. You have a sky with lots of big clouds. The only one I want to break up is right here. I'm going to put a little separation in there. And just tuck in a little bit right there. All right, I think we're good. Maybe a little bit more blue, a little slightly darker in some of this area back here. But overall, you can kind of go through in one one pass and create this lovely sky. There we go. That's our cloudy sky. Again, we're going to come back after all that dries. We'll put in a little more detail into the clouds themselves to give them some weight and shape with some gray and maybe a slight tint of purple. All right, so let's come down here to the ground. I definitely want to use yellow. So I have bismuth yellow here. It's got a little green in it, which is fine because ultimately my ground is going to be green. But I'm going to start back here at the horizon with this yellow. Kind of just come forward. This way. And then around, so it's going to be kind of light in the center. I am going to put on some shadows for the clouds, but let's get through this first. So these edges are going to be darker. I'm going to pull out some sap green. Kind of do this in passes. And then up here, this one is going to be darker. I'm going to add some of my phthalo to my sap green. This is like a whole different green color. See, just kind of building in light and shadows. Super simple. And then I think I'm going to stop there with the ground for now, and then we'll come back in and maybe add some shadows for the clouds. Although I kind of get a sense of that a little bit. All right, so let's go back to the clouds themselves. So I'm going to take some just straight Payne's gray on my tray, but really, really light. I don't want any green in there. Make sure I have all of that out. And then with this, I'm going to come into like the bottom of the clouds, and just remember the bottom, there's still going to be some in the middle, but like you're scooping towards the bottom of like what you would perceive the bottom of each little cloud to be. You could add like a tint to this, like a purple or a blue. Payne's gray has already got slightly cooler blue tint to it, so I'm just going to go with that. And then there's going to be varying values. So some lighter gray areas and some slightly darker gray areas as well. So we have white, light gray, slightly darker gray. You could definitely have 3 to 4 different values in here if white is one of those values. I mean, you could have like 17 values in here, but that takes a lot more concentration and work. And then your really darkest value, you want to limit that. You don't want it to be overwhelming. And as you get further back, you don't really even need to add any additional values. You can just let them be wispy and white in the background there. There we go. Lovely. Feels good. All right, so back to our ground here, let's just add a few more shadowy areas. And then I got so much going on here. If this was more of a flat ground, I got shadows from like hills and trees, it would be a little easier to demonstrate like the shadow of clouds. But let's take sap green and Payne's gray to make like a dark olivey color. Sorry, I'm mixing off camera here. So I just Payne's gray and sap green to make a muted kind of olivey color, which will be our shadow color. So just in some of these areas, I am going to and if it's on a darker area, it's got to be a slightly darker shadow. There we go. We're going to call that a day. So even here on the flatter ground, you can see this is flatter ground here. We do have these darker areas that will translate hopefully as shadows. But again, this is super loose. Don't have to get too... Just adding some super dark color to the front here. Create that vignetting. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Let's take off the tape and see what we have. This one went really fast because again, we kept it simple, we kept it loose. And we focused more on just shape and composition, kind of creating ground and sky, but it is dynamic and it's impactful. So you don't have to get super detailed to make something that is vibrant and has lots of light and has a great leading lines and feels dynamic, like you could kind of go into the painting. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching along. I hope you give this a try, your own version. I'm Sienna Cerulean. Don't forget to check out the description. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share with a friend. All of those things help the channel get more views and certainly motivate me to keep going. All right, y'all, take care. Happy painting, and I'll see you for our next watercolor journal page very soon.